Welcome to the Women's Legacy Movement podcast, where we explore the evolution of leadership for women, redefining influence, energy, and success on their own terms. I'm your host, Carol Jean Whittington, Chief Wellbeing Officer at Whittington Wellbeing. And today, we're diving into something that almost every high performing woman in leadership has mastered, often without realizing it: leadership masking. We've been taught that executive presence is everything. But what if the very behaviors that helped you rise are now the hidden factors holding you back from your next level of clarity, authority, and authentic impact? Let's start with what leadership masking actually is. Leadership masking is the unconscious effort we put into managing how we're perceived, adjusting our tone, expression, body language, and even emotional energy to project confidence, composure, and credibility. It's not inauthentic, it's adaptive. It's how many of us learned to navigate corporate environments that weren't designed for our natural tempo and leadership gifts. We learned early that composure equals competence, that too much passion risks being labeled emotional, that our credibility is tied to how well we mirror the dominant leadership style in the room. So we got very, very good at it. But here's the paradox: what starts as a smart adaptation can slowly become a performance trap. Every time we manage perception instead of leading from alignment, our influence subtly fragments. And that fragmentation has a cost. Our clarity dulls, our energy depletes, and our presence, the kind that people feel when we walk into a room, starts to flatten. Now, this isn't about exhaustion or burnout. It's about energy inefficiency at the highest level of leadership. When you're constantly calibrating how you're perceived, you're spending enormous cognitive and emotional resources managing optics instead of channeling that energy into vision, innovation, or strategy. It's like trying to run a high performance engine while tapping the brakes at the same time. You still move forward, but the traction costs you power, speed, and precision. I call this the hidden inefficiency of leadership masking because it's subtle. You don't feel it in the moment, but you see its effects. Decision fatigue that hits sooner than it used to, diminished creative flow, a sense that presence has become polish rather than authentic power. These are all the signs that your leadership has shifted from embodied to managed. And that's where awareness becomes the turning point. In my 5-year research study, I found that most leaders operate from one or more than 5 primary masking archetypes. There's the script reader, who leads through structured rules and preparation, but under pressure, over prepares and loses agility. There's the observer, who reads every room with precision, but can slide into overanalysis and emotional distance. The performer, who leads with charisma and connection, but risks mistaking performance for presence. The chameleon, the master of adaptation, who's so skilled at blending in that she can forget what her natural tone even sounds like. And finally, the integrator, the multitasker of masking, who can flex between styles seamlessly but pays for it in deep cognitive fatigue. Each style has gifts. Each also carries an invisible cost when it runs on autopilot. The key is not to drop the mask, but to become strategic about when and how you use it. That's what I call dynamic alignment, shifting from reactive adaptation to conscious calibration. It's the next evolution of executive presence, where you lead from congruence, not compliance. Let me tell you about a leader I'll call Dana. Dana was a COO, brilliant, dedicated, always two steps ahead. Her structure and precision made her indispensable. But over time, she began to notice something. Her team had stopped challenging her. Her creativity felt dulled, and she was constantly revisiting decisions, second guessing herself. Through her work, we identified her dominant style as the script reader. When stress increased, she didn't just prepare, she over prepared. Her strength had become her shield. When Dana learned to recalibrate her structure, to use it intentionally rather than automatically, her leadership energy shifted. She didn't lose her professionalism, she gained presence. Her clarity came back online, her influence expanded. That's the power of conscious awareness. When you stop managing perception and start leading from internal alignment, your energy becomes magnetic, not performative. If any part of this conversation resonates, here's your next step. Start by discovering your leadership masking style. It's a short, evidence based assessment that reveals how your masking patterns influence your presence, decision making, and energy. Once you know your style, you can go deeper with the Leadership Masking Styles Insider's Guide. It decodes the hidden dynamics of each archetype and gives you strategic insights to realign your leadership energy with influence and authority that lasts. And when you're ready for the next layer, the Influence Assessment Pack pinpoints exactly where your leadership energy is leaking most across stress, complexity, cognitive load, and recovery. Because legacy leadership isn't about doing more, it's about aligning deeper. That's how you move from managing your leadership to embodying it. You've already built power. Now it's time to make it sustainable. Thank you for joining me today on the Women's Legacy Movement podcast. If you're ready to uncover your unique leadership masking style and elevate your next level of influence, presence, and energy, visit whittingtonwellbeing.com to take the free leadership masking style assessment and get your leadership insider's guide. I'll see you next time as we continue exploring how women in leadership are redefining what legacy truly means. Please take a moment to subscribe to the show. Set your notifications so you don't miss any of the legacy leadership goodness, and be the champion of another legacy leader by sharing the show with a friend. Until then, lead well, live aligned, and keep your energy where it matters most.